China's economy is sputtering. Remember those massive ghost cities we used to gawk at? Turns out they're filling up with emptiness. Property prices are plummeting. Construction, a cornerstone of China's economic growth, is grinding to a halt. This isn't just China's problem. It's everyone's problem. For decades, we've been told China's economy was unstoppable, a relentless juggernaut. The reality is more complicated, and a lot more fragile. The world is watching nervously, and with good reason. China's economic health is inextricably linked to our own. China is the world's second-largest economy. It's a manufacturing powerhouse. It's a major consumer of, well, pretty much everything. When China sneezes, the world catches a cold, and right now, China sounds a little congested. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? China helped pull the world out of that mess. This time, things are different. China's facing its own set of problems, and they're deeply intertwined with the global economy. Buckle up, folks. This could be a bumpy ride. Let's talk debt. China has a lot of it. We're talking trillions of dollars, much of it tied to shaky real estate investments. Remember those ghost cities? Yeah, that's where some of that money went. Then there's unemployment, especially among young people. Imagine graduating into an economy where you can't find a job. Not great. Add to this a simmering trade war with the United States, and you've got a recipe for, well, economic indigestion. These are just the tip of the iceberg. To understand what's really going on, we need to dig a little deeper. China's economic woes are about more than just a housing bubble or trade tensions. The roots of the problem run deep, touching various aspects of its economic structure and policy decisions. They're about government policies, global market trends, and a whole lot of uncertainty. The Chinese government has implemented numerous policies aimed at stabilizing the economy, but these measures often have mixed results. For years, China's government has tried to control the economy with a heavy hand. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The central planning approach has its advantages, but it also comes with significant risks and unintended consequences. Right now, it feels like they're trying to steer a cruise ship with a kayak paddle. The sheer scale of the Chinese economy makes it difficult to manage, especially in the face of external pressures and internal challenges. Add to that a global slowdown, supply chain disruptions, and a pandemic hangover, and you start to see the scale of the challenge. The COVID-19 pandemic has left a lasting impact on global trade and economic activities, further complicating recovery efforts. This isn't just a China problem. The interconnected nature of the global economy means that issues in one major economy can have ripple effects worldwide. It's a global economic system problem. Countries around the world are feeling the impact of these economic headwinds, and finding solutions will require coordinated efforts and innovative thinking. The future of the global economy depends on how well we can navigate these turbulent times together. Section 5. Evergrande's shadow looms, a harbinger of deeper troubles. Remember Evergrande? It's a massive Chinese property developer that's teetering on the brink of collapse. This isn't just another corporate failure, it's a potential economic earthquake. Think of it as the canary in the coal mine of China's economy. Just as miners once used canaries to detect toxic gases, Evergrande's struggles signal deeper, more pervasive issues. Evergrande's problems aren't just about bad investments or risky lending practices. They reflect a broader systemic issue within the Chinese financial and real estate sectors. They're a symptom of a deeper malaise in the Chinese economy. This malaise is evident in the ghost cities, empty shopping malls, and closed storefronts that dot the landscape. A malaise characterized by over-leveraged companies, a slowing property market, and a government struggling to maintain control. The Chinese government has been trying to balance economic growth with financial stability, but Evergrande's crisis shows how precarious that balance is. Evergrande's potential collapse is a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of the global economy. The company's debt is so vast that its failure could trigger a financial contagion, affecting markets worldwide. If Evergrande falls, the ripples will be felt far beyond China's borders. International investors, global supply chains, and financial markets could all be impacted, leading to a cascade of economic disruptions. Financial analysts and investors around the world are watching closely, aware that Evergrande's fate could influence global economic stability. The situation is a stark reminder of how interconnected our economies have become. We've seen similar scenarios before, like the 2008 financial crisis. where the collapse of major financial institutions had far-reaching consequences. Evergrande's situation could be a modern-day parallel, with the potential to disrupt economies on a global scale. The human element cannot be ignored either. Thousands of Chinese citizens have invested their life savings in Evergrande properties, and their financial futures hang in the balance. The social unrest that could follow a collapse would add another layer of complexity to an already dire situation. The Chinese government is under immense pressure to manage this crisis. Their response will be crucial in determining whether Evergrande's troubles can be contained or if they will spiral into a larger economic disaster. As the world watches, the fate of Evergrande remains uncertain. What is clear, however, is that its shadow looms large, serving as a harbinger of deeper troubles that could reshape the global economic landscape for years to come. Section 6. China's economic tightrope, a balancing act gone wrong. China's leaders are facing a difficult balancing act. They need to stimulate economic growth without triggering a financial crisis. It's a delicate dance, and one misstep could have disastrous consequences. On one hand, they need to address the underlying problems in the property market and rein in risky lending practices. On the other hand, they don't want to trigger a wave of defaults that could cripple the financial system. It's a tough spot to be in, and the stakes are incredibly high. Section 7. A global wake-up call. The stakes have never been higher. China's economic woes should serve as a wake-up call for the rest of the world. We've become too reliant on China's economic growth. We need to diversify our supply chains, reduce our dependence on Chinese manufacturing, and prepare for a future where China's economy is no longer the engine of global growth. This isn't about decoupling from China. It's about building a more resilient and sustainable global economy, one that's less vulnerable to the whims of a single country. Section 8. The Dragon's Future. A time for reflection and action. China's economic future is uncertain. The once unstoppable engine of growth is now showing signs of wear and tear. The days of double-digit growth are over. The rapid expansion that characterized the last few decades has slowed, and the country is now grappling with the consequences of its meteoric rise. The country faces significant challenges, from a shrinking workforce, which is a result of an aging population, and the long-term effects of the one-child policy, to a growing mountain of debt. Local governments and corporations alike are burdened with financial obligations that threaten to stifle future growth. The decisions China's leaders make in the coming months and years will be crucial. They must navigate a complex landscape of economic reform, social stability, and international relations. These decisions will have a profound impact on the country's economic trajectory. Will China manage to transition to a more sustainable model of growth, or will it falter under the weight of its own ambitions? And on the rest of the world, China's economy is deeply intertwined with the global market, and its fortunes affect us all. It's time for a serious conversation about China's economy. Policymakers, business leaders, and citizens alike must engage in a dialogue about the future. We need to move beyond the simplistic narratives of China's rise or China's collapse. The reality is far more complex, involving a myriad of factors that influence the country's economic health. The reality is far more nuanced. There are areas of incredible innovation and growth, but also regions that are struggling to keep up, and the stakes are too high to ignore. The world is watching, and the decisions made today will shape the global economic landscape for years to come. It's a time for reflection, but also a time for decisive action.